Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the fourth or fifth try here. I can't really count, but let's get started. Kyler, the Reds have had a bugaboo all season of being 5 games over 500. It seems like every time we get close, they lose, and last night was no exception. Yes, we got blown out, and yes, Chase Burns got the crap hit out of him, but it doesn't mean there was not and is not good things to talk about. Overall, guys are coming on like Matt McLain, Spencer Steer, Andrew Abbott continues to dominate, Kyler. Overall, the Reds are playing good baseball against good teams right now, and we're going to dive into it live next on Reds Access. Welcome to Reds Access, your weekly Cincinnati Reds show. It is just me, your host, Colin Arter. Kyler is having connectivity issues this evening, which means here I am. He will be in and out. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Reds. So big last couple of games for the Reds as we've gone about 500 level baseball. Nothing too special, but I'll tell you what, I've gotten more fight out of them recently than I've seen in a long time. Winning 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, winning 2 out of 3 against the Padres, and Kyler Osterberger is back in action. The Cincinnati Reds have been playing some good baseball. Kyler, what are your thoughts on the last 30 seconds?
Well, I got kicked out, so if I'm to guess that we talked about the month of June, I'm actually pretty happy. I think the Reds finished, I think it was 15-11. So we're on hot baseball. I'm happy with what they're doing. Elly De La Cruz has been hot all month. I think he's leading the Reds in multiple categories, batting average, all that kind of stuff. Pitching's been great. I think I heard you talk about Abbott a little bit right before I got kicked out. Abbott's like throwing some ace stuff this year. Like he's really definitely stepped up and filled this role, which we were a little worried about the fourth and fifth starter at the beginning of the year. We were kind of certain on Martinez, Green, and Lodolo, but we were a little worried. And I think Abbott's done a great job of stepping up to the plate and really filling in those shoes.
Yeah, despite how good Elly De La Cruz is, Kyler, I was surprised to find out that Andrew Abbott is a Cincinnati Reds WAR leader so far this year. He has been the most productive player for the Cincinnati Reds, followed by Elly De La Cruz. Really, it's been the pitching carrying the way. If you look at the top 10, Kyler, it is in order: Abbott, De La Cruz, Lodolo, Green, Friedel, Martinez, Santillan, Trevino, Hayes, Singer. So more than half the guys in that top 10 are pitching, which is funny when you think about the last couple games, Kyler. We've definitely been getting hit a little bit, and the hittings came around. This team's winning in multiple different ways, but just goes to show just how much they'll be able to rely on their pitching staff this year.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. It's definitely been I don't want this to come off like in a bad way, but I am almost shocked at how well our pitching has been this year. And there's like, I know our bullpen, there's been some hot and colds there, and blowing some of the saves at the beginning of the season. I know that kind of really set us off because we didn't have a dedicated closer. Got rid of Diaz, but I feel like the pitching side is just slowly coming together, and it has been a really strong piece of our team this year.
I completely agree. I think pitching's been a really strong piece of our team this year, especially looking at the starting rotation. Nobody really having a bad year, and the guys that are having quote-unquote bad years really aren't having bad years. So when you can look at it that way and look at guys that you expect to compete and put together good starts, Abbott, Green, Lodolo having very good years, and Nick Martinez and Brady Singer both also having above-average years for the 4 and 5. Not to mention the bullpen's been great. Guys like Barlow have inflated ERAs to get us some home runs, but overall been really solid. Santillon's been amazing. Pagan's been incredible. Way better than I thought he was going to be going into the year. I think, man. I mean, Santillon's been great, like I said. Rogers has been – his ERA's but that does not tell the story, man. He's given us everyone he could. But
he
Suter's
did
been good.
well coming in. What was it the other night? Was it Martinez cleanup? He almost had the no hitter. Was it
Yeah,
Rogers came in right to finish it out? Was bases pretty much loaded and he got out of it. So
yeah.
he did have the room if he did, but I think he did pretty well in that high situational right there to just close out the game.
Speaking of doing well in high situations, Lyon Richardson, I think, has also been a welcome surprise to this team, and he's earned a spot in the bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds this season. Coming in through injury with Jabot being hurt off and on, Spires being hurt, losing guys like Alexis Diaz being traded, Connor Phillips and Joe LaSource just sent down today. Lyon Richardson has had the opportunity to really get some real playing time. And I think he's made the most of it, Kyler, so far. So I think the pitching staff has been a big strength of this team, and the teams at time has relied on the pitching staff while waiting for hitters to come around, which they're doing. Guys like Spencer Steer and Matt McLain, Kyler, no more 100 batting averages in the lineup. Well, besides Christian Encarnacion Strand. No more 100 batting averages in the lineup. Steer and McLain really coming around and starting to be positive WAR players for the first time this season.
Yeah. No, it seems like June was the month. And we've talked about it, and I don't want to continue to beat down on that, but it was really hot and cold with hitting in May, and I feel like we were constantly here weekly saying pitching's giving up one run, but we can't score a run, and we're losing these games that we should be winning. So it's really it's refreshing to see guys like you said, Steer and McLain, finally like getting their rhythm and producing offensively, because they were very quiet for a while, and it felt like we were kind of plugging holes with like CES and just the injuries with Marte at third, and like McLain and Steer are those guys, and Steer started injured, but McLain's those guys that like you rely on, like he's a starter every day. So for him not hitting for a while, it was a little concerning for me, but I'm glad to see that he's turning that page and slowly putting together a better hitting performance this year.
Yeah, and guys like Austin Hayes coming back, Kyler, while these guys are starting to get good, really have us having a complete lineup for the first time this year. I saw Noelvi Marte was moved up to AAA. I saw an interview with Nick Kroll talking about Noelvi Marte and his rehab stint, discussing whether or not it was just a rehab stint or he needed to prove he was going to stay a good hitter, basically. And Kroll said it was a little bit of both. He referenced last year, coming back from the PED suspension, that Marte struggled, and he wanted to get the kid to stay hot and get good feet under him. And he's in AA hit really well. And so I guess they're really trying to take his time coming back and making sure he feels confident, his swing's in a good place. I mean, remember, he's only 23 years old. But from all things I've considered, Kyler, is as soon as we can get Christian Encarnacion Strand out of the lineup every day and get Noelvi Marte in the lineup, this is an average MLB offense, and it's a lineup I'd be happy to run out every day for the next half a year.
Yeah, no, I like Marte. And I know that I was talking earlier. I think it was 15-11 for June. Couple games over 500. I just hope we can continue that pace. Pretty much almost every series out of the last 6 series, we were taking 2 out of 3. I think St. Louis, we won 1 out of 3, but we were winning those 2 out of 3 games every series there. And if we can just continue that pace up to the All-Star break and even after the All-Star break, I really like what I'm seeing right now. I think June really put everyone into gear. And I don't know like what Tito did. I don't know if he whipped them into shape. But it really does feel like if you look at the Reds in May and the Reds in June, they look like 2 different teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you've got guys like Matt McLain now, Kyler, saying we're a playoff team. We all know we're a playoff team. And that all stems from, I believe, a dugout conversation hosted by Jose Trevino. Which
Trevino's been a great. I love Lux too. Don't get me wrong, but I think Trevino was probably the best off-season pickup that we made. And, I mean, Hayes. It's hard too with Hayes. I know Hayes is coming back, but Trevino has really shocked me. I mean, we were talking at the beginning of the inning. He was like a career 210 hitter, nothing special. Great glove, Gold Glove catcher, but he's really shocked me this year. Like, I love it when he hits a double, gets everyone fired up. Like, because you just didn't see that from him with the Yankees, and I think he's really prospering here with the Reds. I think he likes where he's at, what he's doing. It seems like he's doing well.
Jose Trevino is the oldest position player on the Cincinnati Reds roster. Early on in the year, and even before the season, Kyler, we were talking about this team needed to be a playoff team and how it lacked a team leader and it lacked an experienced player a la Scott Rowland to make that jump. And here we are going into July with a team that's playing good baseball and a 32-year-old backup catcher who's finding a way to play almost every day because he's hitting his way in the lineup. A guy who's never hit before in his life, by the way, ever.
Yeah, I think career was like 217 or something.
And here he is at 32, hitting the crap out of the ball and being a stalwart part of this offense and part of this team culture, leading group meetings, leading team meetings. He might be the guy that we've wanted and talked about. Hayes is still 29. I know he's obviously a free agent, but he just doesn't. It's crazy ages, right? Because you think about Hayes is 29. Connor Joe is actually the same age as Jose Trevino. Which, look at the two guys. You would think
I know. Yeah.
But Jamer Candelario, who the Reds released, by the way, after clearing waivers, nobody wanted to eat that contract. So the Reds will eat another $30 million of contract wasted. They could have spent $60 million on a great player, whatever.
We could do this weekly, just naming different players that we're wasting money on. But
Jamer Candelario is 31. He is over a year younger than Jose Trevino is. So it's kind of crazy. So my point is Trevino is the guy to lead those team meetings from a position of a leadership position. And the Cowboy was talking yesterday about how, I think it was Jim Day, Kyler, was talking about how Jose Trevino was that old school leader in the clubhouse that most teams just don't have these days. And I think that it sounds like the Reds think very highly of Jose Trevino.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think he's the best offseason pickup that we've made. I like Lux a lot, too. I feel like Lux has really stepped in and filled a void because I wasn't sure really where Lux was going to land towards the beginning of the season. And he's just kind of done a little bit of everything. And he's hitting. They're filling him in outfield. I don't think he's ever played the outfield before. So like he came here open and willing to fit however they wanted him. And I really like that. I really like that about Lux. I respect that. He didn't come in like Devers and it's like, I only play this, like just being drama, and he's just really stepped up. So I don't know. I mean, you got to give Tito credit. Tito was on a lot of these guys as signing like Hayes and all that kind of stuff too. But I don't know. I feel like for once we really I know we try to pay people cheap, and a lot of times we grab these guys that are past their prime. But I really liking the off-season additions that we had this year. I feel like, and for a while they were almost carrying our team. Like in the month of May, Trevino, Hayes, and those guys were basically carrying our offense when Elly De La Cruz, McLain, Steer was hurt. So it's definitely been refreshing to see some guys just kind of fill into the team really well.
We traded India for Singer straight up, and we needed that starting pitcher, right? And so, especially with guys like Lauder out and Williamson looks like he's going to be out for the year, of course, with Tommy John. We needed Singer. And then when we got Lux, it was a straight up trade. But the fact is that Lux is outplaying Jonathan India right now.
Yeah.
Jonathan India is having an okay year. His average is about the same, but he's lost a little power, lost a little on the on-base side. He's having the worst year of his career so far. Gavin Lux is having a major league average year, almost exactly average, a 750 OPS. The funny thing is, though, I've seen Reds fans we talked about this last week. crap on Gavin Lux because we gave away this prospect that's doing so well in single A. To me, it is wrong for Reds fans to think that way. They've almost been conditioned to think that way by ownership. We talked about this last week. I think I take all day long a acquisition for nobody, a non-top rated Reds prospect, to give you a major league average bat under team control for 2 more years. I take that all day long.
Yeah, and just like how I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we discussed, like, we want a team to compete now. And even though Lux is an average MLB hitter, he is helping us compete now. So I loved India as well with the Singer trade. And that was hard to watch India leave. It was almost watching him fill in Joey Votto's role as Joey Votto was leaving. But Singer's done really well this year, and like you said, India is not performing like we thought he would, I guess is the best way to put that. But yeah, I don't know why Lux gets it either. I think that he's with a great mindset and attitude and kind of has done whatever the Reds asked him to do.
Well, and let's transition, right? So let's go from pitching and the pitching need. And we've talked about the Reds pitching being so vital this year. And we've talked about leaders in the clubhouse and Jose Trevino. Let's transition to what we really want to talk. One of the things we really want to talk about today, which is Chase Burns. Obviously, electric first start. I don't think his line matched how good he was the first start. I think there was an error by TJ Friedel that called a triple. I think we've all seen that play. He pitched really well. And he pitched so well that the Boston Red Sox had their scouting department do a little work, hence my name here. I fully believe, and I fully believe that every Astros player on that 2017 team should have been banned from baseball. If they're going to do it for the White Sox in 1919, do it for the Astros now.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Once a cheater, always a cheater has been my mindset. A lot of people were talking about the tipping off, and it was insane. I mean, it was. I don't know how else to say it. I think they had one swinging miss on Burns out of like 18 swings. Their hard hit rate was like 60%, and I think the MLB average is around 36.8 or 37 in that range. I don't know how. I mean, people have bad days, but like I said, once a cheater, always a cheater in my mind. And I know you feel the same. You obviously have the tagline, but I mean, what's your thoughts?
If I sat here in the dugout and went every time a pitcher throws a off-speed pitch,
the trash can.
And by the way,
the trash cans and brooms.
Yeah, trash cans. And tipping pitches is part of the game. But man, you got an absolute expert at finding that stuff in Alex Cora. But you know what, though, Kyler? I think that kind of start helps Chase Burns.
Yeah. I think he's definitely, and I know a lot of people were talking about his like leg lift and stuff like that, but you got to take from this and kind of build on it. And it's what happens when you get into the league. Like people are going to figure you out. You can't do the same thing every visit. That's why people watch tape. That's why they prepare for you. So I hope that he does take it, as whether or not. I hope he does take it and the positive criticism and build from it.
I'm sure he will too. I mean, he seems like a really hard worker and a good kid. I have no reason to think he won't take that and run with it.
And he's young. It's second start. I mean, there's nothing. I'm not worried about it.
I'm not either. I think that he'll come out better for it. I guess lastly, what I want to talk about, Kyler, is the state of Major League Baseball. And I was just thinking as we've been talking, the state of Major League Baseball in the All-Star game. Don't know if you've seen, but there are 6 Dodgers starting the All-Star game as of right now because it's fan vote only.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can look up current. It might be more than that. Yeah. So in the National League, Freddie Freeman, Dodgers at first base. He is so much worse than Pete Alonso, who's second.
Yeah.
Tommy Edman of the Dodgers with a 729 OPS is playing second base right now, or right behind Ketel Marte. Mookie Betts with a 707 OPS. Max Muncy, who is having a very good year. And two outfielders and catcher Will Smith. Now, Will Smith also is having an incredible year. My point is that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hitters, Kyler, on the All-Star team will be Dodgers. By the way, the Dodgers are not the best team in baseball this year.
No, but they have probably the biggest fan base.
But that's not what an All-Star game should be.
I agree with you, but I mean,
and it goes both ways. In the NFL, the Pro Bowl guys get snubbed all the time from All Pro because the coaches pick, and the best players get picked. Well, it's always like Patrick Mahomes gets picked because he's Patrick Mahomes.
Right, and St. Brown didn't get picked. What was that, 2 years ago? So yeah, it's just obviously was well deserving, but I mean, LA has a huge fan base following all across the United States. So, like you said, you get enough fans voting for your favorite LA Dodgers player at every position. Obviously, you might beat out a lot of people that are more deserving.
Yeah, and I guess I just don't agree with it, man. I guess that's something to me that I just don't agree with it. I think there needs to be a change there, mainly because I hate the Dodgers. But that's I think the Dodgers are everything wrong with baseball right now. It's
just write a
it's
check.
Like the Los Angeles Rams of baseball. They're buying the super team, man. It sucks.
Yeah, and I don't know how baseball has never been a salary cap sport. You know what I mean? And with the NBA and the luxury tax and stuff like that. How do you keep baseball close to how it's always been, but not let teams, whoever has the biggest checkbook, just buy all their players and buy a World Series almost every year? Just the Yankees, Dodgers, you know what I mean?
I know they've talked about preparing for a potential strike again with the new collective bargaining agreement coming up or expiring here shortly, the old one. And if that happens, if that means losing half the players, Kyler, who should go play in Japan or something, while the United States game gets a salary cap, then to be honest, in my opinion, that's just what it means. Yeah, I really think that it's time for a salary cap in baseball.
Well, look at the NFL.
And a salary floor, by the way. Because if you have a salary cap of $200 million, let's say, or $150 million, there's no reason why the Reds shouldn't be spending $150 million.
Right. That's what you should aim to max it out.
But you'll see small town teams still spend $60 million, and the answer is why.
Right.
Or the question is why.
They want more profit, obviously more revenue. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I agree with you. The NFL is really nice because everybody has the same amount of. Obviously, you have some rollover and stuff like that, but in a sense, most teams have the same cap, and you need to put together a team that's better than everybody else with the same amount of money as everybody else, and that's what makes it so competitive. In baseball, there's got to be something that cuts off, but I agree with you.
Now, I did see the Cincinnati Reds are averaging almost 26,000 fans a game right now. Now, I'm looking at Baseball Reference. They have a little bit lower than that. But that would be the highest, Kyler, since 2014. Or 2015, sorry. It's crazy. There was a while there the Reds were in the middle of the pack for attendance for games. Right after they won 97 games in 2012, there was a time they were averaging almost 31,000 fans a game. And that went down to 2021, Kyler, or 2022 especially. The Reds averaged 17,000 fans a game. Almost nobody was coming to the American Ballpark. But here we are. We are in 2025. And the Reds are still in the bottom part of the league for attendance. But 26,000 people is not nothing, especially Great American Ballpark. I think, man, that we're starting to get to a point. It has not been a time since 1995 the Reds have been in the top half of attendance in baseball. So with all that said, I hope we get back to that, 'cause I think that's going to tell our ownership, Kyler, that it's time to start winning some ball games.
Yeah, hopefully. Like I always say, if you win more, they come, and when they come, they spend more, and you make more. So, not sure why Cincinnati is known for being cheap for sports. When you see other teams spend money and win and see the revenue come, so figure it out sooner or later, hopefully, or sell it.
One thing I saw too is Baseball Reference has this thing called Park Factor, and it's for pitchers and hitting. And so, everyone says Great American Ballpark's a hitter's ballpark. Great American Ballpark has not been a hitter's ballpark statistically year to year since 2011. It does have an over 100 batting factor. And what that means is that the batters do benefit. But actually, since 2011, it has been a neutral or pitcher-friendly park every year.
I didn't know that.
I think that gets a lot of bad rap. Great America. It's a small yard. It's really not. It is not a hitter. It is a hitter-friendly park just as much as it is a pitcher-friendly park. This year being no different. The last time, at times, it's been over 10% more friendly to pitchers than the average park in the league. And this is the first time since 2012. Or, I'm sorry, since 2011, it has been a pitcher-friendly park, if not an even park.
I didn't know that. It's actually pretty interesting. I've always been there's the stereotype that Great American Ballpark is hitter friendly, so I've just always kind of went with that. But I have not seen or read anything stating what you shared. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty neat thing, and I think it's comparing that to if I do like the Yankees attendance, right? The Yankees have been a hitter friendly park every season since 2016. So to put it in comparison, there are fields that are hitter friendly, and Great American Ballpark is just not one of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. Blew my mind tonight.
You're welcome. But
something new. You learn something new every day.
It looks like they just entered a rain delay in Boston. But looking forward to the Reds, Kyler, we play Boston. We're down 2-1 right now. 2 more games. Then we go to Philadelphia for 3 games. You hope you come out 500 in that, right? So you're still 3 games over. Let's say you hope that we win 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox and win, or 2 out of 3 against the Phillies and 1 out of 3 against the Red Sox. You hope we finish 500 ball.
Yeah.
Then you go to the Marlins at home for 4 games. And then you have the Rockies at home for 3 games. And then you go into the All-Star break.
I'm hoping those are all sweeps, baby.
And even if they're not, you hope you go 5-2, 6-1.
Yeah.
So there is a legitimate chance that the Reds ball club plays ball, Kyler, that we're looking to get a team that's 10 games over 500 potentially going into the All-Star break.
I feel like that would really help and just light that fire underneath.
It would help hopefully get some action around the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I want to hear Nick Krall come out and say we're buyers because this team's a winner.
I feel like that day might not come, but let's hope. I don't think we'll ever be buyers. I think we'll always be a, hey, we're doing well, there's nothing else we need kind of team. Like we're just gonna keep the pieces, but we'll see.
So we're 3 games over right now. Let's say we win 1 and lose 1 against the Red Sox the whole way out. Then let's say we win 1, lose 1. Let's say we win 2 against the Phillies, keep playing good baseball. So we're 4 games over going against the Marlins. Say we win 3 against the Marlins and 2 against the Rockies. So 2 + 1, 3. So now we're 7 games over 500 going into the All-Star break. We come out of the All-Star break, we go play the Mets, who are not an exceptionally good team. We can win 2 out of 3. Play the Nationals 2 out of 3. Now we're 9 games over 500, welcoming the Rays into town. We're going into August playing the Dodgers for 3 games, the ability to be 10 games over 500. And we play the Dodgers well. I mean, I just don't see why we're not a buyer. We have a good stretch of baseball. Like I said, if we can get out of the Phillies with a winning record, we have the Rockies and the Marlins. And then we have the Mets and the Nationals, then the Rays. We can really play some good baseball. I'm not really high on the Rays. I know they're a fine team, but they're actually pretty average year over year. But point being is we have a chance to play a good stretch of baseball here, Kyler. I'm excited to watch the Reds play.
Yeah, me as well. And with that, I think ready to wrap it up. Send us home.
I am. I'm not gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna let you finish it again. I was so impressed by last week's. I'm gonna let you create your own here. Create your own finish for me. Give me a Kyler Osterberger certified finish.
I don't know. You can't be on the spot like that. I like the rounding third heading for home, but I don't know. If I had to make my own, I think Reds Access hit for a cycle tonight. I think if you want to join in next week, we're going to go for a grand slam. So tune in, subscribe, and watch history be made.
Right on. Well, history be made right here on Reds Access. See you guys next week.
Good night.